73. I'm still outdoors. I'm making quite a lot of videos today on my lunch break. I'm making this blog. I don't normally make blogs, but I might start making a few more blogs. I've got a few things in my mind. One of them is what's the difference between a prepper and a survivalist. Now, everyone used to be kind of classed as survivalists, and then a good few years ago, we're down in New Orleans when they had the big typhoon or tornado that hit them. Typhoon, whatever it was, big disaster anyway. The people who were able to survive and help other people were these so-called survivalists. Now, there's one thing about people who are survivalists or preppers, whatever you want to call yourselves, is that we're actually quite friendly people, and we like to help other people when people are in need. And that's what happened. These people went out and shared their food and medical skills and everything else and helped these people out, and they were then classed as preppers because they were prepared for disasters. And so that's kind of where the difference lies. For me, I feel that a survivalist is somebody who wants to go out into the wilderness and survive off the land and make do with what he has, but also kind of ready for everything at the same time. Where a prepper is somebody who's prepared. It goes back to the old Boy Scout matter, BP, be prepared at all times. And I was an old Boy Scout and Boy Scout leader, so be prepared is where I started being a prepper, I suppose. And that's my philosophy today. I live in a country at the moment, which is Japan, as most people who watches my videos will know, and it's prone to disasters, it's prone to earthquakes, it's prone to tsunamis, it's prone to typhoons. We have a typhoon season, and this year alone I think we had like 22 typhoons that came through. So disasters are quite common in this area. Now, a lot of people who are more kind of survivalists than preppers are getting ready for the big whatever that's going to destroy their country and all society. But for me, as a prepper, I'm preparing for a disaster that's going to happen in my area. Now, Japan is kind of north and south divided, and either something happens in the north or something happens down the south. And I'm kind of just the beginning of the south part, halfway down the middle, around Osaka, in a place called Kobe. And back in 1997, there was a big earthquake here, and it devastated most of this area, and a lot of people died. And where I am even today filming has been rebuilt from that time. So disasters are quite common in this country. So I am preparing, or have prepared, for my family to survive at least for 24 hours, which will give the government time to start evacuating people, if not starting to ship in supplies. Now, recently we had the big storm that went through the Philippines, which devastated the whole of the Philippines. That type of thing is very rare that happens, and the Philippines is kind of a very, not that it's a small country, but it's kind of small areas over a large area, over a large piece of water, which means that the storm can hit everything kind of all at once or go through a lot of it. But mostly things it happens in certain areas of a country, and it takes at least 24 hours to 48 hours for the local government to get itself back up and running and getting something into action. So that's why my preparations for myself and my family are for that type of disaster, where either it be an earthquake or some type of natural disaster, that we'll be able to survive for at least 24 hours to 48 hours until we can get help or get to help. Now, in my job I travel a lot around this area, which means it takes me away from home every day, quite far sometimes, and I need also to be prepared myself on how to get back to my family and back to my actual stash at my house to survive even more. So in my bag, in my EDC carry, I carry items with me which will help me get from where I am back home. Now, if there is a disaster, such as a major earthquake, which means that transportation will be down, means that you do have to walk from A to B over pretty bad terrain. So having good walking shoes with me at all times is something I do carry. being prepared for all types of weather. At the moment, it's coming into winter time, and as you can see, I'm wearing a ski jacket, which is quite warm. It's also waterproof. It does come with a hood. It's got hand warmers. Headgear, I usually have a few different types of neck warmers, gloves. I also keep a rain suit in my backpack with me as well, which acts as another layer of insulation as well. As regards to food, I usually carry food with me anyway, so for lunchtime, but getting food's not really going to be that hard in an urban situation, and that's really what I'm prepared for, is an urban situation, an urban disaster, where food is not going to be that hard to find, especially here in Japan, where they have a convenience store or newsagents on every corner, and these things are like mini supermarkets. So trying to get food from there is quite easy. Vending machines, which I've just found out recently by a guy who fixes these things, that vending machines are designed to actually give free drinks after a major earthquake. Then once they shake to a certain amount, they click over and you can actually just get the drinks out for free. So that's pretty cool to know as well. So a drinking supply and a food supply is not really my main problem. My main problem is keeping warm, shelter, and then having the proper gear to get from A to B. I've also got a very simple type of first aid kit which I carry with me at all times. It does have some blood stopper bandages, simple band-aids, sterilizing kit, some painkillers. I'll have to go through it later on and do a review on that. There's other things I'd like to keep in it, but that's the basic I keep in at the moment. And then of course I got this, my mobile phone. And of course, if there is a major disaster, most communications are going to be wiped out anyway. So these phones, one thing about iPhones, that anyone who has them, I'm not too sure about Android phones, but definitely about iPhones, even if there's no actual service, the compass on them will work. Okay, so you don't, if you like put it in airplane mode and you've got no signal on it, you can actually still use the compass on it. So it should still work even if there is a shutdown of the telephone grid. And then, as you know, I have a solar power battery to keep this going as well for communications. And so that's me as a prepper, and where my mindset is on this type of stuff. I'll make another video in a few minutes about mindset in itself, because that's something you also have to think about. Okay, so this is Rogue73 signing off. Please like and subscribe, and look for me on Facebook.